This is Anusha. In today's video, I would be discussing about when to use rows versus range in SQL window functions. A window function works on a set of rows and that set is called a window frame. Rows and range are keywords used to define window frames within window functions to decide which rows should be included in the calculation. So let's see how these window frames work using some Windows function. So here I have a sales table of employees. So I want to find out the first sale of each employee. So I have written the query. I have selected all the columns needed and then I've used first value Windows function to get the first sales amount with respect to the sales month. And as you see, the first month sale amount is included in each partition. So this one works well, but here we didn't mention anything called Windows frame. So the same query, here I explicitly mentioned how the Windows frame boundary should be, like the rows between unbounded preceding and the current row. I mean the frame should have unbounded preceding and up to the current row. So here after giving this clause, again we are getting all the first month sale correctly. So in both the cases the output is same, but here we are explicitly mentioning, but here though we are not mentioning, it is by default taken by SQL. So next we'll consider another example. I want to find latest sale of each employee. So again I've written the same query, similar query, where I've selected the needed columns and I used last value window function to find out the last month's sale. So after I run the query, I got this output. So here I see the last month's sale is not correctly reflecting because it is giving the same sales amount for each row. It is not picking the last value. So why is that happening? As we know, by default, our window frame works rows between unbounded preceding and current row. So in order to pick up the last value, we are giving the frame as frame up to current row. So the last value is picking up the current row value. That is the reason we are getting the same current row values in the last month's sale. In order to change this behavior, we must extend the window range to include all rows in the partition. And how we do it? It's here we are giving rows between unbounded preceding and unbounded following, so that the whole frame is mentioned properly with all the rows, and then the last value Windows function picks up the last month sale. So here when we see after giving this criteria, we can see the last month sale or latest month sale is truly reflected. Let's check another example. Like I want to find second month sale for each employee. So for that I am using the nth value Windows function, and here I am giving nth value sales amount comma 2. So 2 is the n value here, and we are giving rows between unbounded preceding and unbounded following. The reason again we are giving unbounded following so that it can go beyond current row and it can check the second month sale accordingly. So after the query, this is the output and I am correctly getting the second month sale for each partition. So till now we are discussing about rows between for the window frame. So I wanted to check what is the difference between rows between and range between. So I have calculated the running total per transaction in sales table. So I have given the sum of sales amount and then I have given rows between unbounded preceding and current row. Though I don't give this criteria also, it will by default take that criteria. And then we are getting the cumulative rows. So cumulative rows are coming correctly, like 1000 plus 2000, 3000 and then 4500. So it is adding each row by row values. Now here I have given the same query, but I have, instead of rows between, I have given range between. And then when I check the output, we can see here the output is slightly different when there are same values. Here we are calculating running total for transaction irrespective of date. We are just getting the running total. But here we wanted to group the cumulative range for each same values, like same date, like here for the 1st January 1000 and 2000, it is giving the cumulative range, and in the same way when it comes the 3rd January came, so it has calculated 1200 plus 800, that is 2000, then it is added with 4500, and so we are getting 6500 and 6500. So that is how the range and rows work. So at the end, I would like to conclude that use rows when you want a row by row calculation where each transaction considered individually, and you have to use range when you want value based calculations, like when all the transactions with the same value or same date are grouped together. Thank you.